Hi everyone, welcome to Best Recipes with Sharon. Today I'm going to be cooking up some ribs that literally fall off the bone. They're that tender. And I'm going to share that recipe with you. Now more than anything, the secret to doing this is really about how you're cooking it. So you can't cook them quickly, it takes lots of time. That's how you get fall off the bone ribs. So I'm going to start by showing you another great recipe for the rub that you will put on the meat. This will be put on the ribs before you start to cook it. It will help with the flavor, and if you don't have a lot of time for marinating overnight, you can get up in the morning and just put this rub on your ribs, and then you pretty much need to cook them for the better part of the day. You can cook them in the slow cooker, or you can actually cook them in the oven. I will show you the time frames that need to be done for this. Alright, so let's get started. The amounts that I'm showing you is for 6 full racks of ribs, so you'll need to adjust it according to how many ribs you're doing. Take a small bowl, add 4 teaspoons of black pepper. Then add 4 teaspoons of salt. And then 4 teaspoons of onion powder. And 4 teaspoons of dry mustard. Now 4 teaspoons of garlic powder. Also 4 teaspoons of smoked paprika. And I'm just using a fork to mix this all together really well. And this just allows for an even distribution of the flavors. Now another secret to making sure that your ribs are nice and tender is to remove the membrane from the back of the ribs before you cook them. Sometimes it's nice and easy like this. You can grab a hold of it, get a little bit of a paper towel, and you can pull it right off. The paper towel just helps you to get a better grip. But sometimes you can just grab a hold of it with your hands and it starts to tear nicely and it just comes off easily. Other times you have to work away at it. And sometimes it will just stay on there, you can't get it off very easily, and it's okay to cook it with it on there. Your ribs just are nice and tender when you don't have to deal with those membranes after it's cooked. So now then, just coat each of the ribs with your rub. You just put it on with your hands like this, make sure it's coated nice and evenly and fairly thick. And do each and every one of them separately so that you make sure that there's lots of flavor that's packed into each piece of meat. As this is cooking, the flavor will soak in really nicely. Now I'm doing up quite a large amount of ribs today, so if you're only wanting to do 1 or 2 racks of ribs, it'll make this process go by a lot faster. And so I'm going to be using 2 crock pots, and I'm actually going to put 1 in the oven in a roasting pan as well. Turn the crock pot on high to get it started and get the heat up there nicely. Then today I'm covering it with chicken and rib barbecue sauce. Sometimes I use apple butter. Now you can also add a little bit of apple juice or pineapple juice to the bottom of that if you like it to be a little more moist, but you don't absolutely have to. And you cover it and don't move the lid off any more than you absolutely have to. You really shouldn't have to open it up because it will lower the heat too much on you. Now if you're going to put it in the oven, put it in your roasting pan like this, and then cover it with your favorite barbecue sauce once again. And you can slow cook it in your oven at 275 degrees for approximately 5 to 6 hours. It's a little bit faster than the slow cooker, and some slow cookers are a little bit faster than others. They're all called slow cookers, but so that time may vary. I put mine on high for 7 to 8 hours. That's also because I had a lot of meat, so I loaded it up right to the brim. If you don't load it up quite as full, it'll cut back the time an hour or 2. So long and short of it is, the best and most tender ribs take hours to cook and on a lower heat. And if you want, add some more barbecue sauce before grilling. Then to finish them off, place them on a cookie sheet with parchment paper and broil them so that you can caramelize the barbecue sauce and the spices, and it will have extra flavor. So this is looking really good, and in fact it is. This is very tender, fall off the rib bones with lots of flavor. So if you know you have company coming, you can put it in the oven or the crock pot in the morning and have it ready by supper. So the secret to cooking good ribs is never to be in a hurry. Allow it its time to slow cook. Thanks so much for watching Best Recipes with Sharon. And I hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful.